She said it like it was a chore. Like breaking someone's heart was just a box to check before brunch. I just can't do this anymore, Noah, she said, not looking up from her mug. The one I'd bought her in Prague, back when we still collected things together. I stood in our tiny kitchen with the peeling paint and the sink that always groaned when you used it too early in the morning. She wore her favorite cardigan, the one I used to steal off her shoulders just to make her laugh. And now she wouldn't even look at me. You mean us? I asked, though I already knew. Yeah, she said, finally meeting my eyes. Us. We've been hanging by threads for months. I was working night shifts, 2 jobs. One at the bar on 4th Street, the other fixing HVAC units out in the suburbs. She was building something, some fashion startup her old roommate had looped her into. I tried to support her, even sold my guitar to help her pay for her first photo shoot. But she started disappearing. Not physically at first, emotionally. Conversations got shorter. Eyes glazed when I talked about my day. More dinners out with the team. More late nights with her phone always face down. I told myself she was tired. Driven. That it was just a phase, like all couples go through. Turns out, it wasn't a phase. It was a countdown. She said, it's not you, it's this life. Always budgeting. Always worrying if rent's gonna clear. I need more than this, Noah. More than you can give. And that stuck. More than you can give. Like love had a receipt, and I'd come up short at checkout. I didn't fight her. I wanted to. God, I did. But I saw it in her face. This wasn't a conversation. It was a farewell speech rehearsed in front of the mirror. She packed while I showered, like a thief in reverse. By the time I stepped out, the closet was half empty and the apartment felt foreign. I walked her to the door, silent. She paused on the threshold and said, maybe if things were different. Then she was gone. The following months bled into each other. I spiraled at first, ate too little, drank too much. Thought about texting her every time I saw a mug that looked like the one she took with her. But rock bottom has this funny way of clarifying things. I didn't want to be the guy she left. I wanted to be someone I could respect again. So I did the only thing that ever made sense to me. I worked. I took every job I could. Moved out of our shoebox and into a friend's spare room. I started fixing computers on the side, building up a reputation. Word spread. Clients grew. One connection led to another, then to a startup needing someone scrappy who wouldn't ask for much up front. I said yes. Learned fast. Made mistakes. Ate them. Got smarter. Grew with the company. 2 years passed like a montage. I moved from IT guy to operations manager to silent co-founder. The startup sold. Quietly. Profitably. I didn't post about it. Didn't throw a party. Just sat in my apartment, my own place now, and stared at the numbers in my account like they might vanish if I blinked. Then one day, I got a letter. Real paper. Fancy envelope. I almost didn't open it. But the handwriting, it was hers. You can guess what it said. I'm getting married. You're invited. No hard feelings. I read it 3 times. Once like I was just another guest. Once like a man reading a joke with no punchline. And once more, like a man with a plan. Because there was something else in that envelope. A photo. Them. Him with the jawline and tailored suit. Her in a white dress, mid-laugh. And I swear, she looked exactly the same as the day she left me. Beautiful, confident, and absolutely certain I was no longer part of her future. That's when the idea sparked. Just a flicker at first. What if I showed up? Not out of bitterness. Not to cause a scene. But to remind her of something. Of me. Of everything she'd underestimated. And maybe, just maybe, to bring a surprise. One she wouldn't see coming. I RSVP'd yes. No +1. Just me. I figured that was fitting. The wedding was set at a vineyard 2 hours north of the city. One of those places with string lights, old oak trees, and hand-lettered signs pointing to things like ceremony and cocktail hour. You could practically smell the Instagram filters in the air. I arrived early. Not too early. Just enough to slip in unnoticed. The valet looked me up and down, probably surprised I wasn't in some dented old pickup. I handed him the keys to a black sedan, sleek, foreign, understated. Not rented. Mine. I wore a charcoal suit. Custom cut. No tie. Just enough to look like someone who didn't need to impress anyone. Inside, it was exactly as I imagined. Pastel flowers. Champagne towers. Laughter in clusters. And then I saw her. She floated through the crowd like a vision, all grace and glitter. Her hair was pinned back, her smile wide. She looked like the woman I fell in love with, and nothing like her at all. Our eyes met. Brief. Sudden. Her face did something strange, like recognition crashed into confusion, and both panicked. She didn't walk toward me. She didn't walk away either. She just froze, mid-laugh, hand half raised with a flute of champagne. I nodded, polite. Not warm. Not cold. Just enough. I saw him next. The groom. He was taller than me. Broader, too. Wore his suit like he'd been fitted for it by someone who owed him a favor. Handsome in a generic way. Smug, too. Like the world had always bent to him just enough to make him forget how quickly it could unbend. He didn't know who I was. Not yet. They started the ceremony a few minutes later. Guests found their seats. I slipped into the back row alone. Quiet. The music played. Vows were said. The usual poetic nonsense. She promised laughter. He promised devotion. Someone cried. I didn't. After the kiss, the crowd erupted. Applause. Cheers. The photographer's flash popped like fireworks. Then came the reception. Assigned seating. I found my name on a gold-trimmed card. Noah Carter. Same cursive she used on the envelope. She wanted me there. Maybe to show me she'd won. Maybe just to prove she was fine. My table was filled with strangers, older couples, probably distant relatives or business partners. One woman asked how I knew the bride. I smiled. Old friend. Dinner came and went. I stayed silent mostly, sipping bourbon, chewing slowly. Watching. She glanced my way 3 times. Each glance longer than the last. By the 4th, she excused herself from the head table and made her way over. She approached from behind, hand resting briefly on my shoulder like we were friends who hadn't spoken in years. Noah, she said softly. I turned, looked her right in the eyes. Emma. She offered a smile. Tight. Nervous. You came. You invited me. I didn't think you'd actually show. I tilted my glass. Neither did I. She sat down in the chair beside me, uninvited. I'm glad you're doing well, she said. You look different. You mean not broke? Her smile faltered. That's not what I meant. No. I leaned in a bit. Because when you left, you said I didn't have enough to offer. She looked down at her hands. That was unfair. It was honest. Silence lingered. Between us, the wedding buzz carried on. Clinks of cutlery, the hum of distant laughter. Why'd you come, Noah? She asked finally. Really? I paused. And that's when the microphone clicked on at the front of the tent. Ladies and gentlemen, the MC beamed. We have a very special surprise from one of our guests, a message and gift for the bride and groom. Emma blinked. What is this? I stood up slowly, straightened my jacket. Her eyes widened. Noah. But I was already walking toward the stage. The mic was heavier than I expected. Funny what you notice when adrenaline's doing laps through your chest. People turned toward the stage, mid-chew, mid-laugh, mid-toast. Even the DJ froze. Emma stood halfway to me, caught between decision and disbelief. I looked at the crowd, dozens of people who didn't know me a thing. Then I looked at her, and I spoke. Good evening, I said, calm and clear. I wasn't planning to say anything tonight. I came here to sit in the back, be polite, and leave before the cake was cut. But something about this moment felt unfinished. A few people chuckled awkwardly. Emma didn't. My name is Noah Carter. I used to know the bride. Once upon a time, I thought I'd marry her. Now the room went still. Life had other plans. She left, said I couldn't give her the life she deserved. And honestly, she was right. Back then, I couldn't. I was broke. Not just financially. I was running on fumes, scraping by, chasing dreams no one else believed in. Not even her. I paused, let it breathe. But funny thing about rock bottom, it teaches you how to climb. And after she walked out, I learned how to build. Quietly, relentlessly. Emma looked like she wanted to disappear. I'm not here to shame anyone, I said, softening. This isn't revenge. This is closure. I reached into my jacket and pulled out a small envelope. White, sealed with wax. I brought a gift. Something I think the bride and groom will appreciate. The groom stood now, arms crossed. Defensive. I walked off the stage, down the center aisle, and handed him the envelope. He hesitated. Open it, I said. He tore the seal. Read it. His jaw shifted. What the hell is this? He asked, voice rising. Emma rushed over, snatched the paper. Her eyes scanned the words. I watched her face collapse. The letter was a transfer of ownership. A deed. The vineyard. This very place. Signed over. To me. The previous owner, a quiet investor named L., Jennings had sold it 3 weeks ago, anonymously. Now, in front of family, friends, and flowers that probably cost more than a year's rent, I stood not just as a guest. I stood as the landlord. Emma's voice was a whisper, but it shook. You bought it. Technically, I said. I bought the holding company that owns it. Changed hands quietly. Clean title. Fully legal. The groom stepped forward. You're trying to humiliate us. I shook my head. I'm trying to remind her. You don't measure a man by his lowest day. Gasps rippled through the crowd. The MC awkwardly excused himself. Someone at table 7 dropped a fork. Emma looked like she'd been unplugged. Her lips moved, but no sound came out. I turned to leave, but paused. I won't evict you, I said. The lease stands. One day, you can have your wedding day. No drama. No noise. Then I walked away. Outside, the sun was setting. I could hear faint echoes of chaos behind me, muffled by the thick vineyard doors. Someone shouted. A song skipped. But out here, in the quiet, it felt clean. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about hurting her. It was about the version of me she didn't wait for. The one who rose from the wreckage. Who walked into a wedding with nothing to prove and left with everything intact. People say success is the best revenge. But I think peace is. Because peace doesn't need an audience. It just needs a door you're finally ready to walk away from. And never look back.